Drawing with both hands at the same time is something which does not come natural to me. I'm right-handed, and to draw with my left hand was something which I took on as a challenge last year in 2022 for the Inktober challenge. I'd injured my right hand, and it was my tendons in my hand. I just kind of pulled them or something. I don't know what I'd done, but it was really painful to kind of grip things. So I started to learn to draw with my right hand for 30 days in October. For the 31st day, I tried to draw with both hands, but it was really messy. The image I was trying to draw was a little bit too ambitious. I was drawing with brush pens. There was lots of reasons why it didn't work out. So now I'm going to start drawing with both hands without the challenge of Inktober or any kind of scene in mind. Just trying to draw faces a lot, to be honest. And trying to draw simultaneously is really tricky. So it's literally how you draw when you're just playing. You just draw eyes first, and then the eyebrows, and then the nose, and then the mouth, and you're just building a face that way, as opposed to thinking of different angles that faces can be, or bringing up reference where you can actually start to develop your knowledge on positions and poses and structure, different planes of the face. I'm not doing any of that yet. I'm just winging it, seeing how far I can get, drawing from imagination, learning the hard way. You learn however you learn, and that's how I learn. For these drawings I've been using, well, for the first drawing I think I used a 0.3 and a 0.8. That bothered me because it meant that the first drawing had heavier lines on one side than the other. I thought that could make sense, the side that's closer will have heavier lines and the side that's further away, but it was a face, and a face when it's turned isn't going to have that much perspective to have thinner lines, and it didn't end up working that way anyway because the face wasn't a 3/4 face, and there was no justification for it. It was only a slight thickness, line discrepancy, but I didn't like the fact that I hadn't married up the thickness of the lines and the thickness of the nibs, I should say, for the drawing. So for the second and third drawings, I've been using the 0.8 micron Pigma Micron fine liners, and they're good pens. They're great. It's my barriers to get over that's making it difficult, that I can't relax my left hand. This may seem obvious, and it may seem like, it's drawing with your left hand, but I know after spending 30 days of drawing with my left hand, if I just relaxed and thought about the marks, then it should be fine. But I'm not doing that, and my hand is going jerky and, pushing lines around in a way which aren't arcs like I'm hoping for. And if I'm trying to do straight lines for hatching, it becomes a line that really drifts and has a kink in it, and it's really strange. So the way that I'm thinking when I draw with both hands is that I know this hand can draw. This one I'm not so confident with, so I'm thinking about this hand and I'm just mirroring what this hand is doing with my right hand. So for example, when I'm doing the eyes, I just think, right, think about this hand moving and this one will do the same thing. And I check that line and I think, that's fine. Now I've got to do another one for the eyelid, and I'm just looking at this left hand because this one's the problem. If I were to look at this hand, I can imagine this one will go crazy. I might need to do that for the next experiment, but for now I'm just going to upload these three. The first one I quite like. I think that the cowboy guy starts off quite well and then turns out terrible as soon as I start adjusting the hat, and as soon as I draw the hat it becomes awful because I haven't considered the width of a head. And then when I draw the ears, I was thinking it's a bit iffy, and then when I draw the hair around the ears, it becomes wider and wider, and then I draw his jaw, it's even wider. It's just crazy proportions that I couldn't control. And then the hat just looks like a little, novelty hat on his head, so it didn't really work out. But I like the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the details on the cheekbones. I like all of that part, and part of his brow. It kind of, there's parts of it that worked, and I want to do more of that type of face because it's interesting. The second drawing was a real struggle because I didn't consider the angle of the face when it came to drawing the nose. The nose looks like it's being pushed and pressed in, as if it's like a boxer's nose that has been punched that many times, it's misshapen. And I've got a crooked nose because I fell on my face when I think I was 18 or 17. I came off my BMX and just fell straight onto my face, and that broke my nose. But it's not to the extent where it's really pushed over to the side of my face, and that's a suggestion that I get with the second drawing. And it's a bit of a sinister look to the character that I was trying to keep fairly soft. And then, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's certainly not where I wanted to get it. But there's parts of it which are acceptable, I suppose. I was trying to get thicker lines to complement the thinner ones, but the thinner lines are all unwieldy, just like all of the drawings have been. So it was tricky, it really was, and I wasn't satisfied with it, because initially I thought I'll just upload 2 drawings just as an example of ambidextrous drawing, but it's not enough, it's not nearly enough. So I did this third drawing. With this, I quite like the face. I think it's worked out quite well. The hardest part, and this may sound strange, was doing the shading for the hair, just doing the vertical lines for the hair. It took so long to do both hands at once, and I could do one hand and then do the other, but I thought for the video you want to see both hands working at the same time. It'll just be a nice image. Plus, I'd like to learn to do that more naturally, so that if I ever draw in front of people or for a performance of some kind, just drawing or painting with both hands, it'd be nice to do both at the same time, so that they're both operating independently. The more I do that, the more comfortable it will become. And it's quite fun. I do recommend you try it. Try it with 2 pencils instead of 2 pens if you like, or 2 biros, or whatever you need, just to take all of the serious edge off it. It doesn't need to be on a clean piece of paper. You can do it on lined paper or on a piece of cardboard, or whatever you're comfortable with, where it removes all of the pressure. Because I know that people who make art see all the problems, and people who view art see all the qualities and all the benefits of the piece. I'm seeing a lot of the problems. So with the first one, I don't like the hair, the chin, the hat, but I do like the face. Even though there's problems with the face, I do like the centre part of the eyes, the nose and the mouth. Not perfect by a long shot, but it's got potential there. The second one has points that are okay, but I think the nose makes the face look a bit menacing. I think the eyes, they don't really work, as far as the eye that's furthest away is a little bit too squinty and small, and it's not quite, it doesn't quite marry up with the symmetry of the face. And faces don't have to be symmetrical when you draw them, but it has to look natural to an extent, especially if you're not going for a realistic portrait. If you're doing a kind of cartoonish character, to make someone so asymmetrical just looks like bad drawing, and that's what it turns out being. I'm going to show all of the mark making journey and see what happens, but it'll be a time lapse, so you don't have to watch it in real time. But I'm going to try to improve the mark making with my left hand, because I'd like to be able to draw with this hand almost as well as I can with my right. I can't imagine it will ever be as good as my right hand, because I've just drawn so much more with my right hand, but I'll try as much as I can to work on that. It's really easy to make big mistakes when you're drawing a face, and I think that is the scary part of drawing in front of people. Something that I learned from Kim Jung-gi is that he would make mistakes, and people thought he didn't. Something that he even said is that hiding mistakes is part of being a professional artist. And when I've spoken to a lot of illustrators and fine artists, they all agree that being able to find a way to make the mistake hidden and part of the solution for the piece is as important as knowing how to draw or paint or make art well. That's a real skill in itself. It's a really valuable quality that creative people develop. And it's something which I need to try to approach when it comes to this style of drawing, because it's performative and there's no real function to it outside of entertainment. It's not something where I think it's quicker to do it this way. It's not quicker to draw with two hands, it's slower. It's literally to try and have fun with that and to try and develop a new skill, but to try and make it entertaining for an audience. I have seen another artist do this. It's someone who said that they'd be interviewed by me, but I've really struggled to keep contact with them, and I can imagine they're just very busy. I'm not going to name them here, people may know who I'm talking about, but there is someone online who posts videos of them drawing with pencils with two hands, and I think they do a bit of brushwork and then a blender with the left hand, something like that. Very nice person, and I hope to interview them in the future. I won't put them on blast in this video, but that's something which I'm hoping will come through at some point. So yeah, the nerves side of doing drawings is different in public than it is in private, and filming myself drawing is not something which I'm nervous about anymore. It can be a little bit difficult as far as the logistics of having a camera here looking down at the drawing, because I don't have desk space to set up the camera behind. I may move the desk at some point again soon, because I used to have it this way. I don't know, I'm not sure about things like that at the moment. What I do know is that this is just a step in the process, and the concerns that I have are not big concerns, they're not big problems, they're just issues of not concentrating enough, not having a good enough idea. Is there any merit to not planning a drawing before you start it? I don't know if there is, so I'm maybe going to put a little bit more preparation into the process before starting the drawing. Maybe start having a bit of a reference to the side. I don't know, is it best for me to draw from imagination and develop that? I think I might have to do both. Maybe I'm going to start drawing from reference without both hands and draw with both hands from imagination. I don't know. We'll see. I might have to try a mutation drawing with both hands and see how that works out. That'll be interesting. And yeah, I'll share that with you as it happens. So anyway, thanks for watching.